The issue that they're going to have is the cutting, and that's what Elon Musk has been doing with DOGE. And he took the stage yesterday at CPAC with a chainsaw, demonstrating essentially what he's been doing to our federal government, getting rid of all the waste, fraud, and abuse. Here it is.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy. Chainsaw!
So the guy on stage with him that's waving, that's the president of Argentina, and he gifted Elon that blinged out chainsaw that Elon was holding up because both of them are known for cutting wasteful
Did in his
spending.
country.
Right. My problem with Milei is he's tight with China. And he's reaffirming things with China. But he also is friends with Elon Musk. And he said, here, take this chainsaw. And he made the most of it. And you see him getting the chainsaw handed to him in backstage. And he walks out there. But then he got serious. He says, look, I'm trying to do something really important. Watch.
People ask me, what's the most surprising thing that you've encountered when you go to D.C., when you're in D.C.? And I said, well, the most surprising thing is the scale of the expenditures and actually how easy it is to, when you add caring and competence where it was absent before, you can actually save billions of dollars, sometimes in an hour.
Yeah.
Like, it's wild. But obviously, it just shows that they really lack empathy for the average taxpayer who's working hard, paying taxes, and then they say, oh, $1 million doesn't matter. I'm like, I think it matters a lot to people, So what are you talking about?
So I'm so conflicted about DOGE because on one hand, of course, I support everything that was happening. But I feel like it's in the rundown every single day. I'm like, oh, it's DOGE, 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 DOGE. And then I go out there and I talk with the American people every single day, and that's all they're talking about is DOGE. People that are not really political, they want to see where the money is going. They want the waste to go away. And I think there's this spirit amongst Americans now. When they look at their circumstance, they look at their family struggling, some of them living paycheck to paycheck, and they see some of this outrageous spending. They're wondering why they haven't gotten some of that money. I think it's the top story every single day for a reason. It's something that resonates with the American people.
Yeah, and Elon Musk said it's going to save Medicare. It's going to save Social Security. He said this is not optional. It is essential. He said treating the government's money is no different than the way you would treat your checking account. A person who overspends, he says, usually goes bankrupt. We're spending more than we're taking in, and he's saying we've got to start cutting. And that's just, you might not like it, you might lose your job, but he's saying we don't have a choice. 6,700
IRS workers are going to lose their jobs. And there is some personal stories of people coming in, they're locked out of their computer, they get an email that they're done, and they say it's over performance. They say, I never even got a performance review. Both could be true. You could have bad performance and no performance review, which is part of the problem with the federal government. There's no accountability in the big story. And if you look at what the IRS is, very few people outside Joe Biden's family thought it was a great idea to add 87,000 agents, so they were gradually adding them. Now they're going to be cutting them back. Now they're going to look at the Pentagon. Do you notice that the Treasury, Education, as soon as Linda McMahon gets there, has already mentioned it, everyone's saying, and Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Defense, please come. Yeah. Please cut. They're going to add money to defense, but they got to get smarter. 700,000 civilian employees. How many are absolutely necessary? How much are doing redundant work? And the reason why speed matters, if you think about it logically, the longer you take, the more people dig in and go, yeah, don't cut my program. Republicans too. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's in my state. Don't do that. But if you come in with an outside force, which DOGE is, not anchored to a secretary position, and you say, this is what's best for the country, also, I got deniability. I didn't cut 6,700 from the IRS. Maybe many of those are in my district. Even though it's better for the country, it's better for my political career. So you get two things. You're not responsible for it, and it was the responsible thing to do in the big picture.
It gives them the political cover that they need when they're dealing with
I think so. That's why you don't take your time.
This is true.
And you do make mistakes, but you walk it back when you do.
So this is something I'm not proud of. One person that has become a star of the Democratic Party is from Dallas, Texas, my hometown. Her name is Jasmine Crockett, and you're seeing her all over the networks, and she's making the case for Democrats. And she says that her party is not in the business of just giving out money. This is the Congresswoman.
Now, President Trump says he likes the idea of giving some of the savings from DOGE back to Americans as kind of a dividend. Would you support that?
No, we are not in the business of giving out money. And honestly, I don't know what $5,000 will do for you if you are unable to find a job, because I am telling people we are headed towards a recession.
But Ainsley, they are. That's all they do.
She says we're not in the business of giving out money, yet she was one of the ones. There were 130 Democrats who co-sponsored a bill to establish a commission on reparation proposals in 2023. She also has supported student loans, the Democrats have, illegal migrant stipends and those debit cards, also the hotel rooms for illegal immigrants, drug kits for addicts. We've seen that there are places, safe places where you can go and shoot up in California, and the Democrats have supported that. They're giving a lot of money out to what Republicans think and Donald Trump thinks is wasteful spending.
Look, we differ. I actually want it paying down the debt. I don't want to give $5,000 back to people, even though it's your taxpayer dollars. That's what she seems to be forgetting. This is not your money. It is these are taxpayer dollars taken from hardworking people that were being misspent and misallocated. So we said, why don't we put it back in the pot? And it would be $400 million of the $2 trillion that we're saving, in theory. My feeling is when I have a debt, I want to pay down that debt. I don't want the $5,000. I want, in the big picture, if you pay down that debt, we have less money that we're putting towards that debt, which allows more social programs or the country to thrive, or less regulation in order the country to thrive.
But what about the people who are suffering after the last 4 years of the Biden administration? One person wrote, I don't know what $5,000 will do for you, because that's what she said. It's clearly an elitist, trash politician talk. $5,000 is absolutely life-changing for most Americans.
Well, people are barely making it. I mean, when I go to those diners, the amount of people that are telling me that they have to get a second job now, that have had to sell their car now just to afford basic necessities, I think that little bit would not only help them, but would be great for the morale of the country as well. And so I think the president's view is, let's have a balanced approach. Let's pay some of the debt off, a little bit of the debt off, and also give the American people just a little boost. We're not saying that it's going to change their entire circumstance, but it will help them to get through the next month.
It's 20% of what Elon has saved so far. So if he just does it a one-time thing, it lets Americans know, okay, we're getting our money back for the wasteful spending. And then if Elon sticks to cutting $1 trillion every year over the next 4 years, then that's $4 trillion. Just 20% maybe of that first year goes back to America.
I see your point. I just think if I have a debt, I want that paid down. I don't want to take money out because the debt accumulates, and then you add the interest rate. It was explained to me, and if I could figure it out, anyone can, because I'm not great with math. They explained to me that with the money that we're paying now is on the 2% on interest. The money that we've taken out now to pay for, we owe $840 billion just for the first third of this year. That's taken out at 5% interest rate. We haven't even begun to pay the 5% back, let alone the 2% interest rate that we took out loans. That's what's getting so scary to smart people like Elon Musk. He said, you don't understand. We don't have a choice. We're going to have no money for defense or Medicare, Social Security, if all our money goes the way the math is towards interest rates.